another video on drying fruit out. So the other day I dried out some orange slices for preserving, but also kind of for cocktails, and the inside of the orange was really nice to kind of eat. It was a bit like eating a sweetie. So I kind of thought, can we dry them out in just discs of the orange without the pith around the outside? And they'll shrink quite a bit, but I'm kind of just curious. Was it like the pith that kind of hold it? The pith kind of will hold it in place like that. Without the pith there, I think the inside will shrink quite a bit. So I've done one orange already. So I'll show you how to do an orange. These are just cheap oranges from the what we call it, from the needs a bit of wash as that. It's cheap oranges from the market in my local town. So they're fine, and we're going to skin it. So it doesn't necessarily need to be great quality. It can just be a little bit blemished. So we whip off the top. That's fine. We want to get to as close to the inside as possible. We don't want to waste that inside. And then whip off the bottom, and then we've got a flat surface to work on. Then I'm using a carving knife, any knife that you've kind of got, and then we use, what we're trying to do is we're trying to go down the inside of the pith. So we'll take off as much of the pith as possible without digging into the flesh. So we go down. The first one's always never going to be that easy, but then we use those bits there as a guide of where the flesh of the orange is. So there we go, so that's a better idea. So now we're going to use that line to gauge where the pith and the fruit on the inside separate. So we've done it even better that time. So again, it's just a case of going round, working, kind of going round the outside of the orange in that kind of motion. It's a bit of a chefy thing to do. I don't think I might change my mind about this and just decide that it's just better to slice the onions. I've just been doing something with onions, that's why it's called onions. So slice the oranges and leave the pith on, and then break the pith off. But I just kind of thought, we'll have a go and we'll kind of have a see. So I'm not doing the best. I'm a bit out of practice. We just keep going round and round and round and round and round, and then we'll work from the other end. Like that, and then we'll work from the other end, and then we can see where the pith is and where the fruit is, so we'll get a better idea. That. Bit of a palaver. I can't imagine that many people will actually do this. They'll opt for just slicing it, washing it, slicing it, and drying it, and then just eating the centre, which nothing wrong with doing that. It's just everything in life, everything I do is mostly out of my own curiosity. So that's that. Now we're at that stage, and it's just a simple case of going around and kneading it up. Just be careful. I obviously know what I'm doing. I say that, I'll probably slice my fingers off now. Or slice my fingers. So I'm just taking the pith, leaving on as much fruit as possible, because it's going to shrink. I mean, most things have got a high content of water, certainly when it comes to fruit and vegetables, and certainly meat as well. I've got that high concentration of water. So if we dry these, we're going to lose all that moisture, and there's not going to be much left. So I think 95% of this will be water, or well, liquid. So keep going. I don't think this has got any. I mean, if you were doing some kind of fancy pudding, you could put a dried disc of this on and wow your guests, but I don't think people have dinner parties anymore. But maybe a good way to introduce fruit into your kids' diet. There we go. So that's that, and then we're going to keep them kind of quite big. So I could do a better job with that pith, but we're going to be left with the pith in the centre anyway, and it didn't taste of anything when I ate the other one the other day. So what's that? It's about a centimetre. I think a centimetre of rye, and there'll be enough fibrous material to kind of keep that inside, to keep that together. So like that, and then we'll just whip that off. I haven't tasted the oranges, might be horrible. No, they're nice and sweet. So onto a tray with baking parchment, and then I'm going to put them in the hot cupboard. Hot cupboard's on at 80 degrees, so I'm going to be here for the next 9 hours. So we'll have a look at them after 9 hours. Might need to take them home because I'm at work and finish them off at home, but let's just see. Let's see how this goes. Be interesting, I think. Right, so this is 5 hours later, and they are starting to dry nicely. Some more than others. These, the end pieces, are going to, you can see how much they've shrunk, but kind of these bigger ones are holding the shape, so that's not going to shrink that much more, is that one. I've just turned them over a couple of times just so they're getting an equal kind of drying out. I'll probably have to finish them off at home, but seem to be working quite well. When they're nice and crisp, we'll give them a taste, which will be, obviously I'll have to take them home and finish them at home, but they're doing alright. This might work out particularly well. Fully dried and crispy, so it's going to taste nice, and they haven't shrunk too much. Get the orange out. So that was the original size of the orange, ish, and then that. So that was one of that's the biggest piece. So that's kind of like the centre. So it's not shrunk that much. I thought it'd shrink a lot more than that. I can imagine that the bigger ones would come out that size, but that's okay. So we will give taste. It's going to taste nice. Obviously, it's going to taste well. Hang on, I'm burning something. Burning my breakfast. Yes, we'll give it a taste. We'll taste a boring one. It's really nice. It's really nice. I don't know what the practical applications are. I'm turning into an orange powder. I'm going to like grind it up and make like an orange kind of powder. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the applications for it are. And if you've got a load of cheap oranges, I'll say you've been using the zest and you don't want to waste the oranges or turn it into juice, you could do that if you've got the oven on. It takes a long time. It took about, I'd say about 10-11 hours at 80 degrees, which was fine because I was at work and the hot cupboard was on. But at home it's not really kind of like quite practical. It's kind of a waste of power, but anyway, it works. They don't shrink too much. It's kind of quite interesting. At some stage I will do more. And I suppose you could just put them in, if you had a dehydrator, you could just put them in a dehydrator, but I haven't. I'm not going to buy one. It's a bit of a waste of money. But anyway, there we go. Oh, waste of money, but I'll have these in the, this in the oven for 10 hours out of curiosity. So I don't know, maybe I would have been better buying a dehydrator. But there we go.